Hello again, everyone. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a new empty feature class that you can use to digitize or create features in ArcGIS. So to get started, we're going to go to the catalog window. You could do this from the Arc catalog application directly or from within the catalog window. And all we need is we need to go to a folder. So I'll go here and create yourself a workspace. So in this case, I'll do a new file geodatabase and I'll call it project data. And usually you'd want to do this, you'd make a project folder and you'd probably want a main data folder for your project. You'd want like a scratch folder and a results folder for your project. You may have seen those with the assignments in the previous class. And if I right click on that and go to the new menu on the workspace, I get the option now to create a new feature class. So I get some other options here too for new things to create, but for now let's just create a new feature class. And a dialog pops up. On this first page of the dialog, we can name the feature class. And let's name this one continents, because we'll end up putting the continents in it in the next lecture. And I'm not going to give it an alias, and here we can select the type of features in the feature class. So what we want in this case is we want polygon features. If we're going to create continents, we'll use polygon features, but I can select whether I want line or point or another type of feature class here. Down below here, we get the option to turn on routing with M values or turn on 3D information with Z values. In this case, we're not going to use those, so I'm going to just click next and leave those unchecked. And now we have to select the coordinate system that our data set will exist in. And it's selecting a common coordinate system I use. But we're going to use a geographic coordinate system and one that's good for the whole world. And we'll use WGS 1984. If I had forgotten which one or where that was, I could just type WGS and it would find all the ones that had it. Others use the term WGS inside their names, but there's only one major geographic coordinate system here. When I'm done selecting a coordinate system, just click on it to make sure it's highlighted, and then I click next. Now it's asking for the XY tolerance, basically the minimum distance between coordinates before they're considered the same coordinate. In most cases, leave it as the default. When it's in decimal degrees, it's a little harder to understand, but I think usually it's 1/1000th of a meter is when it's considered the same. And once I've selected that default tolerance, I'll click next again. And it's offering to let me configure the geodatabase for this layer. That's a really rare thing. You won't need to use that until you get more advanced, and even then you may not. So we'll skip over that and leave it as the default, and I'll click next again. And now we get the opportunity to create our attribute table. So it starts with an object ID field, that primary key, which it'll automatically create for us, and then the shape field with a geometry. But now I can type in new fields. So we'll give the continents a name and accept the text data type for the data. And I'll do the default length here of 50. And let's also do population. And that's going to be a long integer. And then we could go on and add more fields, but for now we'll leave that as it is. I'll click finish. And all of a sudden I see that continents feature class in my geodatabase now. And I can right click on it and go to properties and see the usual stuff you see in properties in Arc catalog. And then I can just drag it into my map if I want to. It was already there because I created it in Arc map. It added it for me. But so I'll just remove it and go to continents and add. And nothing's showing up though. Why might that be? Well, because we don't have any data in there yet, right? We just created it, it's empty, and I have not put any features into my data set yet. But we have our new feature class container, and we can create more new feature class containers if we would like to. So I'll close this and collapse the catalog window again. And that's it for this lecture. In the next lecture, we're going to use this empty feature class in order to create the features for the continents in a method called digitizing. This is something that was really important when lots of paper maps were being transitioned to digital maps. It's a little less important now, but it still comes up all the time with aerial imagery coming in. People often need to digitize features, and there's still a lot of use for digitizing in GIS practices. See you there.